Everybody, this is Mike Nasty. This is Wednesday night, kind of late night, sports night, with the man Mike Nasty. Mike Nasty's on. Mike Nasty, I'm on. Hey, Jimmo, you coming on, Jimmo? Oh, yeah, Jimmo. This is Mike Nasty. This is Sports Talk. I'm hitting it live. How's it going? Mike Nasty. He's on. Oh, my sister's first one on. How you doing, Jim? First one to hit the banks with Mike Nasty. We're going live here. We're doing a little sports talk live. We're going live, sports talk. I'm up on YouTube, anybody, there ain't nobody's out there. Except for my sister. My number one thing. Another steady. I'm steady. Oh, hi, I'm steady. How you doing? So we got the NFL, you got the Rams and the Saints. -3. So the Rams got the Pats and the Chiefs are -3. So the Patriots are an underdog in this one. So they're 3 points under. So Philly Peterson says he's going to stay with Wentz as a starting quarterback. So he has to. So those guys got to figure out what they're going to do with Foles. There's a couple guys that Broncos and even Broncos like to. John Elway likes big guys. He's drafted 6'7". Osweiler and the dude behind him, Paxson. They were like 6'5" quarterbacks, long and lanky. So that's what John Elway gets. They said that either it's him or the guy coming out now, Murray, who would go there. So they said that Elway likes the taller guys, or Foles. But Foles wouldn't be worth the money for them. It wouldn't be worth the investment for the Broncos like they did with the couple other guys they got. So don't know what John Elway is going to do about starting quarterbacks out there. But they did they did hire another assistant out of the Bears. So for Virginio, whatever, he's bringing his crew with him. He's got Tim Tebow, yeah. He's got his linebacker coach, and he has his Ed Donatelli as his defensive coordinator. They were from the Bears, so he's keeping his staff together. So Tom Brady over Patrick Mahomes. Tom Brady has 5 rings. Patrick Mahomes is this year's superstar. So I'd go with the 5 rings and the 41-year-old over the young kid. It's the GOAT against the kid, as they're saying. So right now, I'd stay with the kid. I'd go with the old guy. You can't beat the Patriots. Not with him there. He's made everybody better. A little later on, I'm going to tell you about some of the receiving yards with all the guys that have caught passes from him in the playoffs and where they're at. And most of those guys, he makes those receivers good. So the Jets they're going to hire Greg Williams as their defensive coordinator. So Case and him are going to get together. His 4-3 blitzing defense, he blitzes as much as our guy did. As much as Wink the Dink did. His 4-3 attacking, he's a heavy blitz team, and he'll come after you and he'll design packages. So that's where Williams went. Since they didn't give him the Browns job, now he's a defensive coordinator with the Jets. They say that the 49ers want to get into a trade with Antonio Brown. Jim uh, Jerry Rice said that Antonio wants to go and be a 49er. Oh, that's Brady or Mahomes is probably the you got to go against the kid. Like I told you, the best for this year. Mahomes had 50 TDs, 5,000 yards. He was in the club with Peyton Manning. And then you have what's his name? You have what's his name, and that's Mr. Brady, who has 5 rings and 8 Super Bowl appearances. So I'm going with the old guy because of the pressure and being there, and no one had to handle that pressure. So I'd have to stick with Brady on there, just because he's been around the situation, and you just can't beat the guy. He's calm, he's cool, he's collective. But hey, this year they might punch a ticket for Andy Reid. Mahomes, the young guy, the gunslinger, you know, the sidearm throws. He says he gets all that from his dad. That's where he got his. His dad was a major league player, so it's where he gets his stuff from. He says Minnesota hired Kubiak as an assistant coach and an offensive advisor, and then he took his son. His son's going to be the quarterback coach, and then he took the tight end coach from the Broncos, and then the offensive coordinator stayed the same. In the NBA, you got LeBron's out for 2 more games, and Luke Walton's trying to hold the team together. That's a hard place to coach. NBA, and you got Magic as your GM, the guy in charge of basketball operations. And if you don't do it right, he gets in your face and tells you what you're doing wrong. So Luke Walton has some things on his hand, and now they're trying to, get some trades. And without LeBron there, some of these guys might not want to come. But Lorenzo and all those guys had to hold it together. I think they're still in the 8th spot. If it was to end now, they'd be in the 8th spot for the playoffs. So the Warriors put up 51 points in 1 quarter. It's an NBA record to put up 51 points. Curry put up like 55 the other day. Yeah, he had like 55 points. He had like 11 threes. So Warriors are always hot. They could be 3 times. They're becoming the dynasty of the NBA. The Orioles hired pitching coach Doug Brickley. It's ties with Elias from Houston. That's what they say. It hasn't been finalized yet, but they got themselves maybe a pitching coach. So like I said earlier, Julian Edelman, he's second all time in postseason receptions with 98 behind Jerry Rice, who has 151. In the company, you have Walker, Gronk, Branch, Brown, Amendola, Moss are all on the top 36 for career playoff receptions. And those guys all caught balls from Brady, except for Rice. Rice is the only one that didn't catch a pass from Brady. But, Edelman has 98 receptions in the playoffs. And they've been there, they get the opportunity to go. They've been to the playoffs 8 times. They've been division winners 7 times. So all those guys, Brady makes them better. Edelman, we didn't know anything about him until he got to the Patriots. Same thing with Amendola. Well, Amendola was a little bit when he played at St. Louis. Walker wasn't all that before he got there. Then he goes to play with Brady, and Brady gets them where they're going. Who else is on here? I don't know. So they did a comparison of where Foles and Murray would go. Murray, first of all, he's 5'11". He's the Oklahoma guy. He's the Heisman Trophy winner. And like I said, they said who would prefer them to go to the Broncos. And Elway prefers guys that are tall, 6 foot, 6'5", 6'3" guys. But they haven't worked out so well. So I don't know how that's going to go. But they say Foles, Foles could land in Miami, Washington, Jacksonville, Denver, and Philly. The Broncos, they're not going to bring him back because the Broncos, they say it's not worth the investment for Denver. is what they say, but we'll see. Then he's not going back to Philly because Peterson said that he's staying with Wentz as his number one starter. So Murray, the quarterback out of Oklahoma, could go to Oakland, Jacksonville, New York, Washington, Arizona, Denver, Miami, and Tampa. His number one is probably Oakland and then Jacksonville. But for for the Ravens, they started open talks with C.J. Mosley, linebacker. He's called all the plays. He's had 105 tackles this year. He was leading the team in tackles. So they're in open contracts with him. So that's one that they need to fill, because the defense is gonna. Zadarius Smith is up. Suggs is up. They gotta make some space. So they're probably if they want to make some cap space, Jimmy Smith could be, a casualty of war. They might keep him. They say they would keep him in the, Carr. He's probably not going to stick around. Weddle's probably not going to stick around. But then you got other guys like Peanut, Onswell. He filled in fine. You got Kenny Young that's behind there. So you got other young guys that could step up and fill the spot. But these guys know they're professional. They know that money is some of the stuff that, people could be gone. They got a tight unit, but it could be changed the second, They do the cleaning house. They try to get under the cap, and that's what happens. So, Brandon Williams, he gets to go to the Pro Bowl because he's going to replace Atkins, who's not going to be in there. I think he got hurt or something. So Brandon Williams gets to go to the Pro Bowl with Yonda, Mosley, and who was the other one? And Weddle. So the Ravens are looking for free agents. Got to fill in the wide receiver spot. DaCosta has some things that he has to finish up. He has to sign Mosley. He has to, so taking over for Ozzie, he has some things that he has to do. So we have to get wide receivers, probably through the draft, because I don't think a free agent's going to want to come here with Lamar not being consistent and knowing that we're going to run the ball more than we're going to pass the ball. And you know how wide receivers are. Everybody wants the ball. They don't want to be blocking wide receivers. They want to make the catch and, do all that stuff. So as far as our rookies, Lamar was the top of the class. He was the third quarterback to win 6 times in 7 games. Jackson led the NFL QBs with 695 yards. Improved his passing percentage was 58.2, and he fumbled 12 times, tied for the worst in the league. And he didn't play a full season. Imagine if he played the full season. So they got to work on that. So we hope that Roman can help that out. So the most improved was Andrews, our tight end, and he was the 3rd round out of Oklahoma. He had 552 yards. He led the first-year TDs, 16 yards per catch. He was ranked 2nd among the tight ends of the rookies. So that's good for him. And he was impressive. He had good hands. He always liked to leap over people. He's going to get himself upended and hurt, but he always likes to jump over top of everybody. And that's pretty good. I mean, big guy like him, he has some leaps. But he has a highlight reel. I think every game he's leaped over somebody. But so our first round pick only had 13 catches because he hurt his foot. He had to be operated on, missed 4 games. He came back. He had 13 catches, 163 yards. So if he regains his form, those two are going to be one dual threat at tight ends, Andrews and Hurst. Because the other two, Boyle and Max Williams, I think they're up for their contracts are up. They've been here for 4 years, so they'll be renegotiating. I don't know if they're going to carry 4 tight ends. We'll see what they do. And another guy another rookie, Edwards. He was the 3rd leading rusher, 93.4 yards per game. Chris Board, he led special teams with 12 tackles. And as an undrafted rookie, he came in and he did all right. So a couple of things that Mr. DaCosta has to do. First of all, he has to trade Joe. Find somewhere to trade Joe and see if we can make some our second round, we don't have much there because we traded a pick to pick up to get Jackson. So he might want to try and get some, draft picks out of it, second or third rounders. So he has to do that, and he has to make sure that he gets a C.J. Mosley. He has to get cuts for the salary cap. Yonda, Steven Smith, they said they'll stay. So Carr, Weddle, and Crabtree out of the 6 that they need, those 3 might be gone. Crabtree, he's not going to stick around. Snead was good with Flacco. Not Flacco, with Jackson. So they had a good connection. Snead's a good slot receiver. And, he can go over the middle. He's not afraid, and he catches the ball. He has good hands. Crabtree, he missed a lot of stuff. Jackson wasn't always perfect, but when he puts the ball in your hands and it hits you in the hands, you need to catch it. I know it all goes to the quarterback and they give it to him, but they catch the ball, you need to catch it. It's in your hands. So the Maryland Terrapins, they got the number 19. So they're going to play Ohio State Friday night. Fernando was named Player of the Week. Oscar Robinson, Player of the Week. He's their sophomore. Still 2 months to go. They put themselves in a good spot to get in the NCAA right now. If it was then now, they would be in the NCAA. Some people think that Turgeon's holding them back. Some of the things that he does. The losses to Seton Hall and things like that. But Anthony Cowens and Fernando, they're the 2 best returners in the Big Ten, and those guys, Cowens putting up 19.5 a game. Fernando's putting up 16. He's getting 10 rebounds a game. So Maryland's on the fast track. They're ranked number 19 now. Maryland basketball for the women, Brenda Freeze. She's one of the most successful coaches in the last few years. They beat Michigan 83-69. They were down, and the freshman Taylor McSell had 17 points. They turned the ball over 15 times. And Brenda Freeze, she's a big, you're not going to lose in her house. That's their motto. They don't lose on their floor for the season. People aren't coming in there and having, it's total defense, and they put pressure. She has them sticking their hands in their face so they can't see the player they're passing to, and that's the drills that they do. And they go over and over and over. And it's fundamentals, and that's what they teach. They teach you the basic stuff. Hands up, hands in the face, so that they can't see, so their vision's distracted if they're taking a pass. But so Maryland's number 9. Like I said. And in baseball, the writers had a couple votes for the Hall of Fame. And the top was Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Roy Halladay, Edgar Martinez, Freddie McGriff, Mike Mussina, Mariano Rivera, Billy Wagner, Larry Walker, and Michael Young. So the top 5, top 6, so Mussina was in there. They got 6 votes. I think you need about 6 or some votes to get in. So Mussina, when he was here, he was our ace. He never got to the 20-game win streak, but he had games where we didn't produce any runs for him. He lost 2-1, 1-2. He was always that way. I don't even think in the Yankees they gave him run support, but he was always throwing and in games, and he had some complete games. He could, hurl 9 innings or he could eat up innings. And he was there for a long time for us, but he never got to that 20-game win column. But he was there for a long time, and right now the voters have him going into the Hall of Fame. There's a couple other guys, Bonds and Clemens are at the top. It was Martinez, Mussina, and then Rivera. They were the guys that got 6 votes. So the Ravens 2018 All-Star team selected by the Pro Football Writers Association. Tucker made all NFC and all AFC. He gets snubbed for the Pro Bowl twice, and now he gets these, AFC, NFC. He got all pro before. He got all pro too. So, and this guy, he was 35 for 39, 141 points he put up on the board, which is, you can't do any better than that. That's what you need. When my son was a little kid, he played, he was a kicker, and in little peewee football, it's 2 points. for about an 18-yard field goal. So you get 2 points. So he was third on the team in scoring, and he never, he maybe had 2 touchdowns that he caught 2 passes, but the rest of it was kicking extra points that were worth 2 points. So you blow a team out in Pee Wee ball, you're scoring 35 points, every extra point's 2, so you're getting, a touchdown a game. Every game you're getting a touchdown by kicking extra points. And you go 3 for 4 or 4 for 4, that's the more points you get. So, he scored like 65 points, and he was third on the team, and he wasn't a running back, a quarterback, or nothing. But, when you can do that and you're as consistent as he is, and he's one of the most consistent kickers in the league. He's 90% over his 7-year career. He made more than any kicker around for right now. That's playing right now. He's the most accurate kicker around, but he always gets snubbed when it comes to the Pro Bowl. But that's all right. He deserves what he gets, and he works for it. Mosley, he's a 4-time Pro Bowl. He got on it too, so he had 105 tackles. He's only missed 3 games during his career. Yonda also made All-Pro, AFL All-Pro, not NFL, not both. But he's a 7-time Pro Bowler. No rookies made the list for our guys. So you didn't see Lamar. Last year they had Illuminar that made it for us last year. But this year we didn't have any rookies join the top there. But probably hear my wife and daughter up there screaming. It was my kid's birthday, my daughter's. One's today, one's tomorrow. My one's bugging us to buy her a car because she can drive. She's a pain in the butt. But yeah. So the Ravens are back on top. The Orioles, like I said, they hired a pitching coach. But now they got to find out what to do with Chris Davis. He got all that thing. I think he's up until 2020. 21 or something, and he hasn't produced since he had that big career, and they gave him a big contract, and he's been batting 212, hasn't produced 38 or 40 home runs, maybe had 20, 21. He's been slumping at the plate. He might need glasses. I think they had glasses, but yeah, guys like him, what are they going to do with Trumbo? Trumbo was injured. See what he's going to do when he comes back. But the Orioles are getting ready for pitchers and catchers to go in there. Like I said, they just hired a pitching coach. They said hasn't been really announced, but they say sources that he's with Elias. He's been with the Astros, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see how everybody see what the Orioles can do this year. Like I said, Maryland basketball got ranked number 19. And they play Ohio State at 6:30. Ohio State was in the top 25, but they dropped out. They had a couple losses, so that's going to be a tough game. You hear my daughter screaming? But that's what they're going to be in for a tough game there. See if they can keep moving up. When the NCAA comes around, see how far they can go. If they can make it to the Sweet 16. There's some predictions that they can get there. I think they're too young, though. You can always keep gelling and, you keep moving. You'll be good. Around here, we got nothing too much going on. But we gotta see what the defense and what the team's overhaul for the Ravens is going to be. See what that does. See what they're going to go for in the draft. People say outside linebacker. They need a few spots. Like I said before, they gotta make up for what they lost to jump in the 32 to pick up Lamar. So they lost the second round. They need to fill that up. Trade with Joe. He's worth a third, maybe a second rounder. He's going to come up and he's going to blow us up when he comes back here to play us. When he comes back here. If he even comes back here. I haven't heard anything about what's going on, but they'll figure it out. My house is a bunch of animals. But my wife messes with that way. So Mahomes and Brady, like I said, I go with the old guy over Mahomes, just because that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, so Mahomes says he inherited clutch genes from his major league dad. You got the Raptors and the Celtics, 81-78. You got Brooklyn and Houston, 95-87. Houston. See what Harden's doing out there. Harden's probably blowing them up. I think that's the MVP for me, like I always say. Memphis against Milwaukee. You got Milwaukee, 89-68. San Antonio and Dallas is Dallas 56, San Antonio 45. That's in the third. Final in overtime, you had Detroit beating Orlando 120-115. Then you got Cleveland, Portland later. New Orleans against Golden State, and Utah against the Los Angeles Clippers. That's later on. LeBron stays out for a couple more games because of his groin. And like I said, they're trying to hold it together until he gets back. The Warriors, 51 points. That was a record for the NBA, scoring 51 points in the first quarter. Yeah, my house is loud. We talked about our rookies. Lamar leading the league, 695 in rushing yards. Then you had Gus the Bus. We'll see how that goes. Every year we get a running back that breaks out. We had Alex Collins last year. What happened to him this year? He didn't break out. His first couple of games, he was getting 5 yards a carry and averaging some rush yards, but then he got shut down. Then they all, figured it out, and we couldn't rush. When we passed the ball 50 times and had, 30 rushes, we couldn't get the rush game going. And then he got hurt his foot, and then you bring in Gus the Bus, and the bus blows up, 7 yards per carry, rushes. I think he had consecutive 100-yard games. We didn't have that since Jamal Lewis, they said. He ran for consecutive 100-yard games. He was averaging 93.4 yards a game. And then, we had 3 times where we almost clipped 300 in rushing as a team. The linemen, they like to get down and dirty instead of sitting back and holding their guys for 5 seconds and keeping the quarterback clean. It's easier to maul somebody down the field, and the way that Roman sets up all these different run schemes and blocks for them, that it was easier to do it that way, and you got the little guy doing just a belly, a dive right up the middle with all the other interactions of where, you had the guy going left, you don't know, a couple of times I thought it was in Jackson's hand, and that guy's running up the middle for a 20-yard game. So you didn't know where the ball was going to go with all the misdirection. 5 guys in the backfield, however they lined up in the old, Switzer style, Oklahoma offense, or the blown up Navy wing tee and stuff like that. So they had stuff going all over the place. And we'll see what Roman's going to do with it now, what other kind of things he's going to throw in there, what other kind of play action or whatever with the rookie. But he's not going to be a rookie next year. He's going to be in his, sophomore jinx. See how he goes. See if he can keep the ball off the floor. See if he can be a little bit more accurate with those passes. He'll have more time to develop, or he'll be the number one guy where he's not sitting behind. He'll get all the reps. So we should be in for a decent year. See what they do. See what they draft. If they pick up anything in free agency. See how DaCosta handles the whole transformation from him being in charge instead of following in Ozzy's footsteps. And he's done it for a while, so he's seen how the guru does the draft selections and all that stuff. So we'll see. See, this is a house full of girls, and they're loud. And it's basically my wife, the loud mouth. She's getting everybody revved up there. And then Jordan does something and she gets mad. I think they're messing with the cat. But that's what they do. That's what we need to get on there for the Ravens. We need to make sure that everybody's in check and make sure that Lamar can lead the team and keep the fumbles in hand and pass the ball with consistency. Not overthrowing, not doing the things that he did. But, like I said, he came in, he stepped in, going 6-1 for a guy like that. His first guy to, not many people can step in and win 6 games of your 7. So there's only been a few that have done it. I think Aikman went 0-something or 1-15 when he came in as a Dallas quarterback. His first year wasn't that great. All these guys that go through their bumps. That's why I hope we don't get the sophomore jinx on them. But that's what we'll have to look at for the Terrapins. So, another thing is, what's his name? Remember Hurst for Oklahoma? Not Oklahoma. For the Alabama guy, Jalen Hurst. He was doing his little tour. He went to Maryland, went to Miami. Well, he's going to Oklahoma. He transferred. He committed to Oklahoma. So he's going to take over, be behind Kyle. So now Murray's gone. Now Hurst is going to step in there. So thought we were going to get lucky and have a quarterback in Maryland, but he ended up going to Oklahoma, they said. So that was the Jalen Hurst thing. This Murray, he says he's committing to the pros, where he could be a baseball guy because the A's want him, and he's a dual sport athlete. So there's one dual sport athlete that nobody knows about. This guy, I don't even know, some of you guys know, Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge played baseball for the Toronto Blue Jays. He was an All-American, 3-time All-American in football when he played in college. Baseball, he played baseball. He played for the Toronto Blue Jays. He was an All-American there. And he was an All-American in basketball, and he played for the Boston Celtics with Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and all those guys back then. He was a point guard. He was shifty, and he was fiery. He wouldn't be afraid to throw blows with you. But he's a guy. He's a dual sport athlete. You hear about Bo Jackson and guys like that. But that guy, he's the guy that you don't hear about. And he was a true, 3-sport athlete. And he was good in every sport he played in. Basketball, he was kind of like John Stockton. He could pass the ball. He was a guard. He was good. He would take it to the hoop on him. He was a good guy. And in baseball, I think he was a third baseman. Had a heck of an arm. And he played for Toronto. But that's one guy that you don't hear about when you hear about the dual sport guys. You always hear about Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders, and guys like that. But that guy was a true multi-sport player. And that was back in the old days of basketball, where they didn't stop until the buzzer. They played hard. So like I said, the Terps have got themselves back in the number 19 spot. Hope that they keep moving up and keep, they're playing together. They're maturing. They're hitting the outside shots now. Cowan's taking them. He's the leader of the team. Him and Fernando, they're leading this team. And then they got a few Lynn Jr. and all these guys up that are coming in there. Here's one of the loudmouths, Annie. She's
I wasn't
screaming.
up there. No, I just threw snow in Jordan's face.
There you go. This is Annie's birthday, so she turned 19 today. So we went out and had sushi and stuff with with the girls?
Oh, who's on Instagram?
I don't know. Michelle.
Hello.
And I don't know the rest.
There's someone on YouTube. 2 people on YouTube.
Yeah, how come I don't get chats? No chat. See if that guy told me to
What is?
don't say nothing.
I know.
Aunt Michelle's on too, and she'll yell at us. No chats. Yeah, so this is Annie Muskrat. But that's what we got there. So it's Annie's 19th birthday. Tomorrow Jordan turns 17. So we got 2 birthdays. So we get Christmas and 2 birthdays. I think we're going somewhere. I don't know where.
The Sugar Factory.
That's what we're doing. Anybody want to come? Hello, Kat. How you doing, Kat?
Hi, Kat. I remember you.
What are you doing?
Trying to get people to talk.
I don't know what we're talking. Alright. I'm getting ready to sign it off. So, that's where we go. That's how we do it. This is Wednesday night. This is Sports Talk. This is with Mike Nasty, the Fat Man. So,
Hello, Gina. Oh, Aunt Georgia's on.
who's on there?
Aunt Georgia.
Oh, hello, Lee. I don't know who they are.
Aunt Georgia.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? So, yeah. That's
Hi,
the
Aunt
Fat Man.
Georgia.
That's the Fat Man. This is Mike Nasty, Fat Man style. This is Wednesday night. Everybody, take it easy out there. We'll be back. I don't know about Thursday night because I think we're going out to dinner somewhere.
We'll be
But
late
Friday
tomorrow.
night, we'll do a Friday night sports talk. But tomorrow we'll do my other workout stuff.
During the day.
Just remember, I do it for myself, not for anybody else. We're just getting off the couch, Fat Man style. Mike Nasty. How's it going, everybody? But that's where we go. If you can get that down there, I gotta see if there's any more. Keep going. Any more? Let's see, I can only see 5 of them. It fills up. I'm trying to figure out. She's my producer. She does all the editing with the computers.
Kurt said praise.
Yeah. All right. So that's what we do. I'm gonna sign off. I'm gonna adios it out of here for a Wednesday night with the Fat Man. We're going down. We're going out. Everybody, have a good one. See you next time. Fat Man Mike.